What a loaded show we have coming your way on the 49ers Report by Chat Sports as we're getting into the latest on Trey Lance, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady. But first, I want to ask you this question. If you could pick one quarterback to chase a Super Bowl this upcoming year in 2022, who would you go with in Kyle Shanahan's offense? Type TL for Trey Area, JG if you want Jimmy Garoppolo back, AR for Aaron Rodgers, or TB for Tom Brady. Get those votes in right now, and let's dive into these juicy 49ers rumors. Welcome in to the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Sr. Really excited for today's show because now that the offseason is officially here following Super Bowl 56, the topic of conversation is going to be hovering around quarterbacks. And Javier Vega threw out some really fascinating clips of Trey Lance on the practice field from this past summer during training camp, making some wow throws. And because of that, social media is just fawning over the natural abilities of Trey Lance. In those clips, I posted them on my Twitter page. Trey Lance is dropping down at different arm angles. He's making ridiculous throws across his body, fitting the balls into the tightest of windows, just really displaying that natural ability that we saw at North Dakota State. And that same ability is what caused the 49ers to move up to number 3 in the 2021 NFL Draft to select him. And this year's quarterback class is considered pretty weak. Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral, the top 3 quarterbacks in this upcoming draft class. So I tweeted this out on Twitter at Chase_Senior. Give me a follow to stay in touch with all of the latest 49ers news and rumors, and I believe this to be fully true. If Trey Lance stayed at North Dakota State another year and was draft eligible this year, he'd be the number 1 quarterback prospect, and it wouldn't be close. This tweet has since blown up. Jay Feely is sliding into my DMs, telling me that he looked awful in that Cowboys warm-up right before that playoff game, which really in the grand scheme of things doesn't matter at all. Why I tweeted this out is because essentially the 49ers moved up to number 3 and didn't give up as much as they would have to this year to take what would be the number 1 quarterback in this draft class. And this is all about value. And in my opinion, if Trey Lance can play, they got Trey Lance at extraordinary value. And what he was able to do at North Dakota State was truly special in a very limited sample size. Only 318 passing attempts throughout his entire collegiate career at the FCS level, albeit, but he completed 65% of his passes, almost 3,000 yards, 30 touchdowns to just 1 interception in only 19 games played. That's just through the air. What he did on the ground is why I believe he can be an elite quarterback in this league with the way that the league is trending and the way that we evaluate quarterback prospects athletically with them being dual threat cats. On the ground, 184 carries, 1,200 plus yards, average yards per carry of 7, and 16 more rushing touchdowns. If you pair those numbers up with any of these quarterback prospects, it is not even close. And all you have to do is look at those clips that Javier Vega put out on Twitter and on social media. Go back and watch some of the tape with what Trey Lance was able to do with the Bison, and you come away from that saying, man, Trey Lance has some really special ability. The throws that he's been able to reel off in his first 2 NFL starts, as well as in training camp, are the types of throws that Josh Allen can make and Patrick Mahomes can make. The remaining question is that because Trey Lance was drafted at 20, because he only played 1 full season of FCS football collegiately, 1 game in 2020, is he ready to play for what is a Super Bowl caliber team right now? And if he's not, is that why San Francisco should pursue an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady, as we're about to break down on today's video? So with that, I ask you this. Do you think the 49ers can win a Super Bowl this upcoming year in 2022 with Trey Lance at the helm? Type W for win, L for no. Once again, get those votes in the comment section. I thought this was pretty interesting too. Segueing from Trey Lance to Aaron Rodgers. Because if Kyle Shanahan and this coaching staff, they do not believe that Trey Lance is ready to play this year, you sit him again, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You either increase his trade value or you end up starting him in 2023 and take that Patrick Mahomes type of plan, even though he did start in year 2. Odds to land Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't go back to Green Bay. Guess who's at number 1? It's the 49ers at 3-1 odds, followed by the Denver Broncos, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Indianapolis Colts. And everything that I've said is a good transition point to what Steve Young had to say on the radio about going after Tom Brady, as well as potentially Aaron Rodgers. And he also said, yeah, Trey Lance might not be ready to go. So Steve Young said this about the quarterback situation in the Bay. If I said which team for a quarterback are the number 1, 2, 3, 4 teams that have that, the 49ers are right there. And if I'm Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or anybody, Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, I want to be with the Niners. I want to be here. This is the place. If I'm going to be in the NFC and I'm going to pick one of the 16 teams that's ready, the 49ers are that team. So you ask me that question, what do I think about Tom Brady for 1 more year or Aaron Rodgers for 3 years? This team could go win 3 Super Bowls. Now, 3 Super Bowls is certainly lofty. That's what dynastic teams are able to do. But right now, I think if you look at this 49ers roster, they have elite players offensively, elite studs defensively, and you match that up with the fact that Kyle Shanahan is arguably the best young coach in the NFL outside of Sean McVay, and you come away with the conclusion that the 49ers are built to win a Super Bowl right now in the immediacy of the moment. Now, with Trey Lance next year, I already think that this offense would take a monster step forward as compared to Jimmy Garoppolo, even if he's not as ready to play. But if you aren't comfortable with moving forward with Trey Lance, you still have him on that rookie contract. That's why these rumors about Tom Brady coming back to his hometown team and maybe Aaron Rodgers getting traded to his hometown team that he grew up rooting for as well, that's why it all makes sense. I also think it's pretty hilarious, the 2 different perspectives from Steve Young as well as Joe Montana. Steve Young has said in the past, look, I think it's smart to move ahead with Trey Lance. Now he's factoring Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady into the equation. And then on the other side of that, conversely, it's Joe Montana saying, yeah, I think you bring back Jimmy Garoppolo. If you remember, it was Steve Young who replaced Joe Montana, kind of like what Trey Lance is doing with Jimmy G. Had to highlight that on today's show because, hey, the irony is just fantastic. So pick a quarterback right now for you to move forward with, for you to bring in for 2022 and potentially beyond that. Type 1 for Aaron Rodgers, 7 for Tom Brady. We're cooking up heaters for questions for you today. Just get that comment section popping. Now, the 49ers report has been popping. We just surpassed 56,000 subscribers. The same can be said for our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, as we're less than 200 people away from 280,000 subscribers. Now, all of you watching, you're a big fan of the 49ers, but if you want the latest NFL news, rumors, draft coverage, free agency coverage, we have you covered on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. We cover the NFL year-round. So go to youtube.com/chatsportstv and help us out with the Chat Sports family. Lastly, Tom Brady rumors. They continue to circulate around the Bay Area, and they ripple across the NFL landscape. Bill Simmons on the Bill Simmons Podcast said if he were to have his guess, he thinks that Tom Brady is going to come out of retirement and go to the San Francisco 49ers. He said this to Kevin Clark. I think there's some type of San Francisco-Miami thing. Mike McDaniel, by the way. Now, you could tell me it's Miami ownership with Stephen Ross. He's running the team. Tom Brady is. He's not playing. I think it's either that or I think he goes to the Niners for 1 year. If I had to bet, I would say right now it's 60-40 Niners, but I think it'll be one of those 2 things. Now, obviously, Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, in hot water, given everything that's going on with Brian Flores, and Tom Brady has a lot of capital right now in terms of the cash. Could Stephen Ross, a Michigan guy, hand off the reins to ownership of the Miami Dolphins to Tom Brady, a Michigan guy as well? And we know that Tom Brady has a bunch of business interests. That's somewhat interesting, especially, like I said, Mike McDaniel, the head coach there, but also the door is open for Tom Brady to come out of retirement and continue playing football, and the door is completely open for him to go back to San Francisco, where he actually wanted to go prior to him signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and sign, let's say, a 1-year deal if he were to get released by Tampa Bay. If not, a trade is also in play to try to chase his 8th Super Bowl of his illustrious and Hall of Fame career. If Tom Brady really wants to come out of retirement and he can tell Gisele, hey, look, I know you don't want me to play any longer, but I'm still the GOAT. I have gas left in the tank. I'm trying to get another run at a Super Bowl. I want to come back. Look around you, Tom. You have Kyle Shanahan, a bright, innovative, young head coach who's one of the best in the league. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. You have Trent Williams protecting your backside. You have Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Fred Warner, and a whole host of other really good 49ers defenders on that roster. That roster might be better than Tampa Bay and might be one of the best options if you do want to come out of retirement to chase that aforementioned ring. Come back home where your parents still live in the Bay Area, and let's get another Super Bowl championship and further add to the legacy. Niner gang, one more question for you before we get out of here on today's show. Rate your level of interest in TB12. Scale it for me from 1 to 100. As always, thanks for making the 49ers Report a part of your day. And don't forget to subscribe. Bang, bang, Niner gang.